effects, developing food education for children. The importance of food portion in children. General information. It is important to understand that the amount of foods we consume and therefore their portion differ depending on age, height, and weight. As you can see in this image, the height and weight of a child are very different from those of an adult. This is why the energy and nutrient requirements are different. A child does not need to eat the same amount of food as an adult. The older he gets, the more the amount of food consumed will approach that of an adult. This image is very visual. As age increases, height and weight increase, and therefore energy and nutrient requirements also increase. One parameter is not visible on this diagram. This is the physical activity. Whatever your age, the more you move, the more energy you need, and therefore the more energy you have. The activities of this training target children aged 6 to 11. So let's compare their energy needs with those of an adult. A 6-year-old child needs between 1500 and 1600 kilocalories per day. An 11-year-old child between 1900 and 2100 calories. An adult between 2200 and 2600 calories. So we should not put the same amount of food on their plates. You can see it very well in this example. But that's the theory. In practice, the problem is much more complicated. The current environment is called obesogenic. Fatty, salty, and sugary products are more available and sold in too large portions. Children prefer those products, and thus, for several decades, the portion size of fruits and vegetables have tended to decrease, while the portion sizes of highly processed foods, very rich in fats and sugars, have tended to increase. For a child, it is not easy to understand that 100 grams of chocolate donut does not equal 100 grams of apples, because basically it is the same weight in the stomach. So, children must be guided towards a better understanding of the food families and the associated frequencies of consumption within a week or a day. In a balanced diet, each family has a share, but it is more or less important depending on the benefits it brings to the body. This is the objective of Activity 1, helping children to understand which foods belong to which family and how often they should be eaten. As part of this activity, you can show the children, using a food balance wheel, what is the share of each food family within a week. Fruits and vegetables, grains, dairy, meat, etc. The visualization and the game will help them better understand these very theoretical recommendations. You can explain to them that sweet, salty, and fatty products are treats and can be consumed in small quantities over a day or week compared to the other families. We look forward to seeing you in the video for Activity 1 to explain how to run this activity. Once a child has a very comprehensive view of food families, they need to be given practical tools to understand how to assess the appropriate portion for their age. And what could be more easier than using your hands? The size of one hand is proportional to the height of one person. It is therefore very easy to show them directly. It is the objective of Activity 2, guiding children towards using their hands to evaluate their own portion. For example, a fruit is the size of a fist, a serving of vegetables is the size of 2 handfuls, and a sweet product is 2 fingers, and their consumption should remain occasional. We will have the opportunity in Activity 2 to provide many other tips to help children understand how to evaluate their food portions in a fun way. We look forward to seeing you in the video for Activity 2 to explain how to run this activity. Now we know that the share of food families in a balanced diet, and we know how to assess the portion we need. Now, how can you control your portions when you are eating? Children are often rushed by adults when they are eating. The activity 3 will show them that it is important to take the time to chew and taste food so that they do not eat too fast and often more than necessary. When we take the time to chew, we are more connected to our hunger and therefore consume a more adequate portion. On the video on the left, we can see a child who eats very fast a hamburger. He barely chews and does not take the time to enjoy the taste of the food. He's going to devour his hamburger. However, in the video on the right, the same child takes the time to eat a very small piece of fruit adapted to his size, to chew it gently, to taste, and to appreciate each bite. This is the way to consume an appropriate portion. Children will be able to experience this in the activity 3, which we will present to you in the following videos. Tasting fruit salads with different fruits, taking the time to feel and observe the smell and taste. Different containers of the same salad will be offered to show them that the container also has an impact on the perception of quantity and allow them to understand that by taking the time to feel their own hunger, they are the master chief of the portion they consume. Finally, it is also important, in order to evaluate the adequate portion, to note that the texture of the food influences the rapidity to eat. The more liquid a food is, the less it is chewed and the faster it is consumed. Let's think. You have a whole apple, the equivalent of this same apple but mashed, and the equivalent but squeezed in a juice. Which food will take you the longest to eat? Probably the whole apple. This is exactly what the children will have to experience in the activity 4. By timing how long it takes them to eat 4 pieces of a whole apple, the same amount but mashed and the same amount but squeezed in juice. Thus, they could understand that they consume the same amount of energy and sugars, but much more faster with the juice. We'll meet you in the video for the activity 4 so that you can run the session with the children. As we have seen, there are many determinants that impact on the amount of foods we consume. The idea of these activities is not to generate frustration in children, nor to stigmatize some foods, but to guide them towards the evaluation of their own portions, the discovery of tastes, and the importance of chewing and time. On the behalf of the whole Effect team, thank you for your attention.